we plan a lot and we plan our life. Most people will put more planning into their 2-week holiday than they do planning into what they want for their life and what they want their life to look like. Whereas we are the other way around. We will plan what we want our life to look like. You just need to look at what you can do. Everything is possible. You need probably less money here than you do in America and definitely in the UK. The houses are cheaper. This house was half the price of our house that we sold in the UK. And this is a big house. This is a very big house. And I'm now the vice president of the gym association.
Wow, all in.
All in. Yeah.
Bonjour, I'm Deborah, a French native teacher and a lifelong expat. In this new series, I chat with English-speaking retirees who made the leap to France. Today, meet Beverley. She left the UK and settled in a lesser-known part of France, far from the usual tourist spots. There, she found a grand old doctor's house and turned it into a warm, character-filled home for half the price of her previous one. Her and her husband worked incredibly hard, bringing their vision to life piece by piece. Let's meet the woman behind the pictures, Beverley.
Bonjour Beverley.
Bonjour Deborah, ça va?
Ça va bien et toi, comment ça va?
Oui, le soleil, c'est très bien aujourd'hui.
Ah, il fait beau. Where are you? Tell us, maybe just before introducing you, where are you based right now?
We live in the Deux-Sèvres, which is just parallel to the Vendée, and we're in a little village called Courlay, and people that drive through France may have gone via Courlay or Roche-sur-Yon, and we're about 30 minutes from Courlay, about 45 minutes from Roche-sur-Yon.
Okay, so a tiny village.
It's not a hamlet, no, it's it's a village. You think it's tiny because you live in a city. It's got 2,400 people in the commune, so it's not small, and we've got a lot of things going on in this village, so it's good fun.
We are going to go through that after. But first of all, let's introduce yourself. You are from the UK, from this town that I won't dare pronouncing. You are going to say it yourself. And you moved to France with your husband. So can you just say a word about you, about what led you to do the move, and like if you are happy in your village with a lot of life, and so tell us about you, Beverley.
So we moved to Courlay 3 years ago in April, so it's just been 3 years and a couple of months. It was post-Brexit, so we had to come and use all the same routes as an American or an Australian person. You know, we didn't have any special rights for the EU. My husband had always talked about wanting a holiday home in France, and we'd never talked about moving. We had lived in the same house for 21 years. We're not big travellers. We've been to France lots and lots of times, but we're not big travellers. And it was a bit of a, okay. After COVID, we decided that life was just a little bit too stressful, and we needed to de-stress, and we needed to have some time for us. Now the kids have flown the nest, and we needed some time for us. And so my husband started subscribing to the magazines, you know, the French property news, etc., so that we got all of this. And he just kept leaving them around the house on the property pages, because I'm very nosy and I like looking at property, and he calls it property porn for me, because I just like looking at all the houses. And he's like, oh, this looks nice and this looks nice. And then I started looking around, oh, this is really nice. Look at the prices. Oh my goodness me, we could get so much. Now, we were in property in the UK. I have designed houses of multiple occupation, so people would rent a room, and then I would design all the rooms and their communal areas. And we also had a holiday let business, so I was designing those properties as well. And I was fed up of designing all these properties for everybody else to live in these amazing places, and I wanted to do it for myself.
Yeah.
Our house in the UK was tiny. It was a 3-bed traditional bay-fronted house. So it's got a big garden, but it was a small house, and couldn't really do much with it. And we'd been there for 21 years, and so we decided in October 2021, just after lockdown, that we could come to France. And I said, okay, that's shall I organise some viewings while we're there, because I'd been looking quite steadily for about 6 months. And so we did.
Specific area you were looking for?
We looked in the Vendée, and we looked in Vienne, Haute-Vienne, and we looked in the Deux-Sèvres. So we had 3 different locations. We stayed in a town called Troyes, which is just north of us, and we were able to go east, west, north and south. So we looked at quite a few houses. The great thing about doing this was that it got us off the beaten track and into villages that you would never have gone to normally. And our house, I could not understand the pictures. You don't get a floor plan with houses in France, and I could not understand the pictures. We'd been told that it was out of our price range and we couldn't afford it, but I was really desperate to see it because it looked strange. The house that I really loved, I thought we were going to love, I was going to see the next day, but we saw this on the Thursday. Absolutely fell in love with it.
Wow.
The house we were going to see the next day, I thought was going to be the one, and it was not what I wanted, and it was not good. And I said to my husband over the weekend, I really like that house that we saw. I can really see us living there. And he said, okay, well, I didn't really pay it too much attention. Let's book another appointment. Unfortunately, the agent is amazing. She's normally closed on a Monday. We were leaving France on the Tuesday. She's normally closed on a Monday, and we phoned her on the Saturday, and we said, can we see it again? And she went, well, yeah, as I live in the village, I'll open the house and let you have another look. So I was like, oh, brilliant, fantastic. And so we came and saw it again, and then David saw it with like the eyes that I was seeing it, and he fell in love with it as well. And then we just worked out a way to be able to get it. So
Nice.
it ended up, we negotiated a bit of a reduction, and that was in the October, and by the end of March, we'd bought it. No, the beginning of April, we'd bought it.
sold your house previously?
We sold our house in the meantime. Yeah, we put it on the market and sold it. But because of the house that we had in the UK and the long garden, the year before, we just spent 20 grand on the house, having the windows replaced. I'd had the garage converted into an office. I'd got a new front door. It looked amazing. But because of all of that, it sold really, really quickly. So
Well,
we
that's
were
good.
able to
Yeah.
sell that and move here. So it was quite a quick decision, I suppose, from the first time that David started putting the magazines about to us seeing our house for 6 months, and then
The
within
porn
6 months we
property,
bought
you
it.
say, I like the expression. The porn property.
Property prawn, yes.
Property porn, yeah. That's a good one.
He knew I'd get
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we moved. We didn't really know anything about the Deux-Sèvres. We knew the Vendée because obviously that's where all the tourists are, but we specifically didn't want to go where there were lots of tourists because I'm very selfish and I didn't want to share my area with lots of tourists. I didn't want it to change character, and I wanted to live a French way of life and not a tourist way of life. And I think that's what we've got here, which is what we really enjoy. And I'm creating fabulous places for us to live here. The house
Fantastic.
is amazing.
It seems that things were aligned. We say that usually when we
Yes.
are on the right track, things are
Yes.
just falling in place naturally. And for
Yeah,
you, it came
absolutely. So
like
we
this.
wanted to be able to get back to the UK within 12 hours, and back to Worcestershire, which
Yeah.
is where we were from. And David's mother was 92, and she was very poorly. We knew that we would have to get back really quickly, and David was going to go and spend, out of a month, he was going to go and spend 1 week in the UK. Now, unfortunately, she died 2 weeks before we moved,
I'm
which
sorry.
was really sad, horrifically stressful in trying to get everything sorted. But that did mean we had 2 houses worth of furniture to move. oh, and this is a big house, and we needed her furniture. So it was awful, but also really good timing because it meant that, David didn't have to come back to the UK, and we got lots of furniture that we needed.
Yeah, it's also part of his family, so it would have
Yeah.
been a shame to have to sell those furniture if you already
Yes.
had yours. So it's good that you could collect them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it all worked
Yeah.
out really well in the end.
So that was also part of your criteria, the closeness to the ferry, to be able to go back to the UK, no? You wanted
Yes.
a place that wouldn't be too far away from
Yeah,
England.
so I'm not great with extreme heat, so that was like the south. We didn't want to go down there, but also it takes a long
It's not
time to
that
drive
hot
back.
in France, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to
Well,
hit
it's
32
relative.
today, so no. But I'm
Yeah,
I'm British, so
that's true.
I'm not great with heat. But we didn't want to go too far south. We wanted to be only, an hour and a half from the seaside. We wanted to make it
Yeah.
a day trip. So that sort of meant that we could only go so far. So we got down and then only so far over. We really like the Loire Valley, but again, that is very touristy and it's quite expensive. The Vendée is beautiful, but again, touristy and very expensive. There's what you call a Vendée premium there, and we are literally 10 kilometers in from the border of the Vendée.
Oh, right.
So, and yet we are a much cheaper house. So
So that's
yeah,
perfect combo.
we've got a lot for our money. But we had to think really carefully about what we wanted. So we've moved to France so that we can travel around Europe and discover France and other places in Europe. So we didn't want a huge amount of land. A lot of people, when they come to France, say, oh, I want to have they get overwhelmed by the size of the land that you can get. Well, our neighbour in Worcestershire, they owned a house, and they said, in France, and they said, and the neighbour was really, really proud, and he said, it takes me 7 hours to cut the lawn, the land is so big, and I was like, I am not having a garden that takes 7 hours to cut. So we have the garden that we've got here is a tiny bit bigger than the one we had in England, although that was a very big garden, and we also have a second garden. We have a kitchen garden.
For the aromatic plants, I know you like
Yeah,
cooking.
yeah. We've got the space, but it's not huge. So we
Yeah.
don't need to worry about, going away and coming back and just being full of weeds, etc.
From all you say, I'm amazed. I think it's not innocent if things were aligned because you seem to have been with your husband, with David, very clear about what you wanted. Like you've got all those criteria kind of lined up. Like
Well,
it's precise.
it's very precise. I have to put some context around that. We were looking to move in the UK, and I've been looking for houses for about 4 years, and we were writing a list. Obviously, 2 years of that was COVID, so it was difficult, but we were very, very specific on what we wanted from our next house. And this house ticked every single box apart from one. And the one was I wanted a window seat, and there is no window seat in this house. However, I do have a very comfortable chair in the window.
So you manifested the house, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, it's even more than that. We're really big planners. We plan a lot. We've run a business together. We plan a lot. We used to help other entrepreneurs plan their businesses and think more strategically. So we plan a lot and we plan our life. Most people will put more planning into their 2-week holiday than they do planning into what they want for their life and what they want their life to look like. Whereas we are the other way around. We will plan what we want our life to look like, and we created these boards.
Oh, wow.
Of what we wanted our life to be like.
Like
in
visual
France.
boards or?
A visual board. Now, the great thing about visual is you have to go and find pictures that represent things to you, so they mean something to you. So there's an emotional attachment to it. And the
Wow.
thing is, David chose this house in France that was a longère, a long house. And that's what he was thinking he would like. I chose a house that was a an old doctor's house, so it was right in the centre of a village, and it was 3 stories, so like a maison maître, but it had the consulting room and everything with it as well. And what did we end up with, Deborah? We ended up with a
Combo.
doctor's house that was long.
Oh wow! No, but this is so magic. It's a little bit mysterious how things are. Yeah, it happened to me in the past as well. It's a bit strange sometimes. I think also it's because having done this exercise of the visual board and like watching all those magazines, and it makes you able to see when you visited this house, then you
Yes.
saw the potential because you were so
Yes.
clear about your desire, what you wanted, this visual board. So maybe if you hadn't done that, you wouldn't have been able to like say, hey, wait a minute, I know it's not
Yeah.
perfect, I know it's not exactly the way we like, but actually this has this potential. It's actually,
Yes.
it might be this one.
Yes.
So maybe it's just about like being able to just see through and open your eyes as well.
Yeah, you need to be very realistic about your age and your body. So we didn't want a full renovation. We didn't want to be moving rooms around and changing rooms and huge amounts of work, because we were 56 and 53 when we moved, and we knew we would want to do some work, but we didn't want to do vast amounts of work. We only wanted it to take 5 years and be done and dusted. Now, our bodies ache a lot with all the work that we do, but this has not been, the house is just a refurbishment, not a full renovation. The gîte is a different thing altogether, but it's really tested our body, and I think people need to be very careful about, if they don't have a physical job at the moment and they're going to try and do a full renovation, it's very physically demanding to do that. So you need to think about how old you are, whether your body can cope with it, and honestly think about how much you want to create those spaces. Is it just going to be a refurb?
So I've got
Or is it?
the backup, but could you precise for our listeners how the house is divided? Like you mentioned the gîte, and in which state was the gîte that you said that is taking a bit longer than what you
Yes.
expected?
Okay, so you come into the front door, into the front garden, and along the left-hand side is what was the doctor's waiting room, and then the doctor's consulting room. And the waiting room we use as our garden room, and the consulting room is locked off and is part of the other building. That building then is attached to another building which contains the doctor's office, 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms upstairs, although they're very low, and a set of stairs and the music room, and that's all one building. But you can go through into the doctor's office and to the consulting rooms through the music room. The music room is attached to the entrance hall. Now, the music room and the doctor's office are the oldest part of the house. I think they're about 120 years old. The entrance hall we think is about the same. Those are stone built with terracotta walls as the interior walls, which is normal. The entrance hall is about the same. There is no windows on the back of the entrance hall, but it was all facing, and you've got beautiful beams. Then you've got 3 little steps up to the main house, and the main house we thought was old, and it was not. It was built in 1963.
Ah, you had it assessed.
No, we went and asked the doctor's widow, and the doctor's daughter is married to the town's doctor and lives in the village still. One of the daughters, so we're very good friends with her, and she came and helped us.
Oh,
So
that
we
must be
have,
nice for her to see her childhood house.
yeah, it took about 18 months for her, 2 years for her to go, yes, I can come and see the house, because she was quite she wanted to remember it as it was, but when there was enough time, once we'd bought it, she was happy to come, and she was taking videos, and she showed her mom, and her mom loves what we've done with the house, so it's really good.
It's
But the house,
important, I think, for the people who
it's
pass on, like to know that the people are
yes,
looking after the place.
yeah. I mean, one of the reasons that we said they sold it to us, even though it was at a cut price was because we said it's our family home. We want it to be our family. We want our family and friends to come, and we are going to live here permanently and love it. And she really wanted to have it loved, not converted into something else, because the other offer was to have it converted into flats. So
Well, completely different.
completely different. She didn't want that. So the main house is made of 4 lots of terracotta walls, all together. In the 60s, we have the dining room. The dining room. The doctor spent a lot of money building the house and having it look beautiful, because it was obviously a very big status thing. So we've got the most beautiful parquet floor, herringbone parquet floor in the dining room, with a 13th century fireplace that he architecturally salvaged from a chateau, which was owned by Cardinal Richelieu's sister.
Oh,
So David thinks
fancy.
that Cardinal Richelieu might have had a beer stood up against the fireplace. I don't think so. How they moved this granite fireplace into there, I have no idea, but it is pretty amazing. The walls are covered at the moment in material and wadding, really high status, very, very high. Along the back of the house is a corridor of black and white tiles, which runs along the whole width. We call it the Corridor of Doom, and that's it there. So from the dining room, you can go into the Corridor of Doom, or there's another door through. And this was a little sitting room, and then there was doors that all open back, and that was the bedroom. And then there is a bathroom downstairs, and the corridor goes all the way along the back. Then
Yes, so
upstairs,
very
very long corridor. Then upstairs, we've got a bathroom on the end, 4 bedrooms, and a toilet on the other end. So in total, we've got 5 bedrooms in the main house and another 2 or 3 in the little house as well. So
The little house is the gîte.
that's that's not the
No,
gîte.
it's not the
No.
gîte. Okay, so
No. So our bedroom used to be the sitting room, and what was their bedroom is now our dressing room. So we stripped off. It also had material, but the material had all rotted because their water heater had leaked. So we had to strip out all of the material, and it makes a right mess of the wall. So I've had to do a lot of repairing. I don't think I've sent you pictures of our bedroom, but it's a beautiful midnight blue with gold. It's really, really fabulous. And our dressing room. So we've got and then on the back of the house, which is the bit that we're in, this is an extension. This was built in 1989. The doctor bought the garden so that he could build this big kitchen, because the first kitchen was on the back of the entrance hall and is only tiny. And to get this garden, he bought a house behind, which is a little house. His mother lived in the little house for a few years until she died. So they were able to build this lovely big kitchen, and his mom lived in that house. That house is the gîte, which
I see.
has not been lived in for 20 years. So, no, the doctor's rooms we may convert into a gîte again, so we may have 2, because that can have its own independent access, but the house over the back has got its own independent access and terrace. It's completely separate from us. So that's the gîte.
That's the gîte that took a while to renovate the way you wanted to. It took longer
Yes.
than what you thought.
It took longer than what we thought, partly because we were also doing the house at the same time. So, yes. But partly it's trying to get money, materials, and men together at the same time as well.
Tout ça en français, all in French, no? For the people, do you work
all in
with?
French.
Yeah.
Yeah, all in French. It's
So
fine.
how is it going with that, with the language skill? Have you had to learn the name poutre, fuite, the leak? Did you have to know all
Yes.
this vocabulary?
We've had to learn an awful lot of vocabulary. The lexicon that we've learned is very different. What my husband learns and what I learn and what we learn together is quite different. But yeah, we're doing well with the language, considering I had very little when we started. We've now passed our B1 and we're working towards our B2 for next year.
If you dream of moving to France, or you are already planning it, or maybe you're already here and feeling a little stuck, I encourage you to do what Beverley did. Learn the language as your first step to building a real life here. Of course, you can learn on your own, many people do, but if you are looking for a way to feel supported, motivated, and truly guided, that's exactly what I offer. On feelgoodfrench.com, you'll find free resources made specifically for expats and retirees. And if you are ready to go further, I offer premium one-to-one coaching that's completely tailor-made for you. For example, I create custom dialogues for your actual life, how to talk to your plumber, your pharmacist, your neighbors at the village fete, or the mairie when you are handling paperwork. We don't just study French, we talk, laugh, troubleshoot, and build a toolbox that's 100% yours. I observe how you learn best and create lessons that fit your rhythm, your lifestyle, and your goals. It's not school, it's your life in French, and it's my mission to make it feel doable, personal, and even fun. If you are curious or interested, I invite you to book a free discovery call with me, and I leave you the Calendly link below.
We have to speak about a lot of things, but let's just say a little bit more about the house by showing the picture you sent me. I'm going to share. Maybe you can say...
Okay, so these are the marketing pictures. You can see the Julie Immobilier, the name of the agent in the corner. This is the music room, and this is the oldest bit of the house that we use. It does have a baby grand piano in the corner.
Was it already there?
It was already there, yes, and it is still there. We bought it from the doctor. The doctor was the very big musician, and he used to play organ in the church, and he had an organ in his office, and that was donated to the church as well, so there's still a link there with the church. But yes, we do have the baby grand piano. We bought the chairs and also the console table as well, so we still have all of those in the house. So that's the oldest part of the house, and it's a really beautiful room. We haven't decorated down there yet. We have now got good electrics in there, but we haven't decorated.
The chimney is still operating, no?
No, the chimney is not. The lining has cracked and has broken, so we would have to get that repaired. But because of the laws now, the regulations, the chimney, because the building is lower than our house, the chimney would have to be raised up by 3 meters
I see.
to be legal, and that would just look ridiculous. And also the height between the base and the beam at top is too little for a normal standard log burner.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to put a fake electric burner in there.
I got deceived by the les bûches.
Yes, I mean they're no longer there because they just used to attract spiders. They were there when we bought the house, but I've now got big copper ewers in that space.
Okay.
And this is our main house. You see, I could not understand it at all. So down where the door is on the right, that is our dressing room, and that
looks quite big. It's not a small dressing room.
No, it's not. All of the rooms are about 25 square meters. Some are 28 and some are 23, but they're about 25, which means that they're a really nice size because they feel nice and big and airy, but they're actually quite cozy as well. They're not like huge double height, double size rooms. It means it doesn't cost an absolute fortune to heat.
Exactly.
So the next 2 windows down at the bottom are our bedroom. Then the next one is the dining room, and we've got a door in our dining room. So our house actually has 4 doors, which we had to get replaced, which was very expensive.
Yeah, if you want to maintain the style as well.
Yeah. But it's covered in Virginia creeper, and we've kept the Virginia creeper because it adds shade to the house and keeps it nice. And if you can see that little white mark down the side, that's a swing. And
yeah.
so there was a swing in the garden because he had 5 daughters.
Balançoire.
Yeah, but now that's all a vegetable plot, David. created a vegetable plot. And the tree that you can see dangling down, we had to have cut down because it was absolutely enormous and it just threw the whole house into shade. So we had the enormous tree cut down. We've got 3 big trees. We've got one on the right, which we've had pollarded, and the one on the left, again, is going to go. But in the autumn, that's going to go. So, yeah,
have to make
it's
some decisions.
It's a massive, great big fir tree, and it's in the wrong place, and it would cause a lot of damage if a trunk came off, not only to our property, but to
of
our
course.
neighbours. So it does need to go.
Just for
It's wrong.
security reasons as well.
Yeah, really.
You mentioned that it's kind of a lot of work, for instance, having changed the door. Did you use the advice of the former landlord, like for instance, where to get the material, the specific?
Yes, we did. When we moved in, the kitchen roof had a major leak, which we found out when it hideously rained, and it was just raining in the house. And we phoned up Dominique, and she told us this was who they'd used, and it was a local company. And unfortunately, they said they were coming out and they were going to give us a quote, and the quote never turned up, which was not great. We do have what's called the Deux-Sèvres monthly magazine, which is a magazine for English-speaking people in our area. And because the Deux-Sèvres is so long, it's just the north of it. And it's a fantastic magazine, and in there are adverts of people. And Rob is English, but he's lived here for about 20 years. His children are French and married to French people. And he came and he quoted and he did the work on the roof. He's also come back. We had to have the lintel replaced on the front door and the entrance hall. And he recommended this fantastic guy in Montcouton, which is our next biggest town. And Valentine is just the most amazing artisan. He's French. He's got very little English, but we got through, and he has done just the most fantastic work for us over the last 3 years. He's replaced all of the doors, and all of the windows have been replaced. He's replaced the window in the kitchen. He's done all of the doors and the windows in the gîte. And he's also just replaced locks. And, if there's a problem, he's literally just a few minutes away, and he'll come round and he'll help us. He is really good, fantastic guy.
You need someone like that, that you can rely on.
Yeah. So Rob is great. He's our roofer, and Valentin is fantastic. He's French and round here.
Génial. Alors.
So this is the entrance hall. You can see how it's lower. That's the single story. And then that is what is the oldest part, which is our music room. And then the doctor's office is in the corner where you can't see. On the left, you've got the waiting room and the consulting room, and then rooms above. So there are 2 definite rooms, and then one sort of like... It's like a landing, but it's way too big for a landing, and it's got a wall in it, so it could be a bedroom if you wanted it to be. So currently upstairs is our attic, and downstairs is our music room, and then we could convert the corner of that building into a studio gîte.
So you are open for plans. You are not kind of set, like you don't have like this clear idea about what will be this room. You have like a little bit of room for.
It's changed as we've evolved with the house. So originally we sort of said that we could do a 2-bed gîte and go above, but that would mean that there were people staying above our music room, and you can hear us and we can hear what's going on. When people walk in, it was like, I don't really want people above there. But also we don't have an attic. We've got this big house, but we don't have an attic. And using one of those rooms, we've used a couple of them as attics. It's really good because you've got stairs. And again, thinking of what we're going to be here for 20 odd years, we're not going to want to be climbing up ladders. Stairs to an attic is really good. So then we've sort of gone, okay, well, we'd prefer to keep upstairs for us. What can we do downstairs? So actually, it's really big, and it could make a really big studio. I mean, this is not going to be small. It's a really nice, beautiful size kitchen, bathroom, and bedroom lounge.
Yeah, quite independent.
Yeah, very independent, and the entrance would be from the road, from the next door road, so they don't need to come in our garden or anything.
I just wanted to say a little note here for our listeners. I
Ah,
see
yes,
it's
Le Bon
from Le
Coin.
Bon Coin. Can you say what is Le Bon Coin for people who still don't know because I
Ah,
think it's really useful?
Le Bon Coin is the good corner, and it's a sale site. I suppose it's a bit like Gumtree, and you can find all sorts of things on there. It's a little clunky to use. It's not as user friendly as some of the other sites, but it is really good. Originally, when I started looking, you could get notifications through to an English phone and an English email, but I'm not sure you can anymore. I think they're trying to stop it to French numbers. So although it's a really good website, you may have to be in France to be able to get the notifications and get more details. But you can find them. You know, we could see that this was Julien Moblier, and we could then contact them off Le Bon Coin. It's when you're used to something like Rightmove, or in America when you've got realtors who will just go and find a property for you. There isn't that sort of thing here in France, so it's a little bit more difficult to find your houses.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's good to know those kind of local websites.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean Facebook is also a really good place. So you can see there, that's the house. You can see
Beautiful.
it's three quite distinct areas. When the removal van came through the gate, they went, "Oh, this is nice. Which one's yours?"
Yeah,
There's a
really,
house. That.
it's an unseen kind of house, huh?
You can't see it.
Yeah.
You can't see it at
Yeah.
all because there's a big wall. We have beagles who escape, so it's perfect for us. We have two walled gardens and they can't escape.
Yeah, you mentioned, I read in your Facebook group, we are going towards your Facebook group after that. It's kind of your introducing line that you moved with the two beagles in your
Yeah.
life crisis after the COVID pandemic. So yeah, you are going to tell us a word about your little dogs. But let's keep visiting your house.
So this is the dining room. It had this enormous table in it and this huge armoire. Now those are no longer there. We've got a sofa and a table and chairs, and
So you moved that. That must have been really heavy.
they took it with them.
Okay.
Yeah. My husband loved the table, but I said I didn't want to be constrained by having that table because it was huge. It was really big. It's a beautiful room, and it was that view that my husband just fell in love with. The floor is amazing. All downstairs is parquet, apart from the entrance hall and the corridor of doom. It's like walking on butter. It is beautiful. It's just amazing, and it just takes so much beating. Rooms that I've decorated, I've got paint and all sorts all over it. Clean it up, polish it back up. Fine. I've never sanded them. I've just polished them back up, and they're amazing. They're so good. I love my parquet floor.
Yeah, it's really nice.
But that's the fireplace is from Cardinal Richelieu's sister's chateau.
Okay, the
But
one you
can see
mentioned.
it's massive and it's granite. I mean, how they moved that, I have no idea. We've put a log burner in there to make it more efficient because we couldn't draw on it and it was not great. So we put a log burner in, and the log burner in that room is really good.
Oh, it's quite special.
Yeah, it is. This is our entrance hall, and as you can see, it's got the black and white floor, which goes then up into the corridor. And I really like Art Deco and chinoiserie, and it sort of echoes that.
Yes.
But the entrance hall feels more like, now it feels a bit more like an orangery because we've stuffed it full of plants, so it does look amazing. But what we do when we have a big party is our sofa goes down from the dining room, goes outside, down the garden and into the music room, and then the table goes alongside it, and we've basically got this huge party space. So the entrance hall becomes the bar and the food goes in the dining room, so we've just got this huge space. So our son calls our house an apartment with party extensions, because we can live downstairs quite happily. We don't need to go down into the music room or the entrance hall. So
Do you often have gatherings, celebrations in your
Yes.
house? Yeah.
Yes,
Because you
all the
speak about
time.
it as if it's like something very common. But yeah, you
Well,
often.
we moved in the April. By the July, we invited all of our neighbours from all of the roads
Nice.
everybody came, and that's the sort of thing that we did in the UK, and it's the sort of thing that we've done here. And since then, we have Christmas parties, we have summer parties, we have just normal apros. It's fabulous.
Now that you mentioned the neighbors and the party, maybe you can say a word about your integration, because I know you moved into a village where there are not so many expats, as you mentioned.
No, there were two others. One's moved to another village and one has gone back to the UK, but everybody else was French. So
I,
when we arrived, we we obviously caused a bit of a stir. The house is iconic because it's the doctor's house and people know it and they've been inside it because it was the doctor's house. You can't see the house from the garden, so nobody could really see that we were here. We have a public parking space opposite. A public, it's like for the church and for neighbours and residents. And the removal van arrived there, and we said, it's okay, you can stay on that car park. We opened both the garage and the thing, and you can bring everything in. But don't worry, nobody ever drives up this road. It's really, really quiet. Of course, at that point, every single car in Courlay decided to go up and down our road, so they wanted to see us. People were walking past and just saying hello because they'd not seen us. Our
curiosity.
neighbour Stefan, who lives 3 doors up, he walked down. He's got cerebral palsy, so it was quite difficult for him to walk. And he walked down and said, "Oh no, I'm just being nosy to say hello." So it
Like
was
that's
really lovely.
the village culture, no? It's like, oh, who is
Yes.
here? I want to know.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. So once we'd moved in and we'd got ourselves a little bit more established, in the September I was able to join the Pilates, which I absolutely love because I've got a bad back, so Pilates is the way that I keep myself feeling good. It's also really good for your well-being. And the Pilates teacher here is amazing. She is really, really good teacher. It's just with a mat and her instructions, and it's really good. And it's the Association de Gym, the Gym Association. And she is actually German, and she's married to a French man. But to me, she speaks perfect French. Obviously, everybody else says she's got a little bit of an accent, but I can't hear it. She also speaks perfect English, and I asked her to only do the lessons in French because I had to learn French.
mhm.
And the lessons are
Yeah,
between
it's two
eight.
in one, no? You
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
practice and learn French.
absolutely. So between 8 and 9 on a Thursday night is my Pilates, and by about 10 to 9, my brain has just switched off to French, and she can tell. As then she just starts to telling me little things in English, so she's quite good. I've been doing that for obviously 3 years now, and I'm now the vice president of the gym
Wow,
association.
all in.
All in. Yeah, I'll do that. That's fine. They were desperate, so it's fine. I'll do that. David really loves to sing. He's a choral singer, and he was in the Worcestershire Festival Choral Society, which is actually the oldest glee club in the world. Sir
Oh,
Edward Elgar used to be its director.
oh,
Um, he,
prestigious.
he's a very famous, yeah, 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 very prestigious, and he is fantastic singer, and he was desperate for something, but I went
Maybe the
to a
church. The church is a
no,
no. There
no,
is
no,
no.
no, no, because you've got to be with other people that are equally as good. And I went to a pottery session where an English artist was teaching people, and there was a French lady there I was talking to. She said, "Oh, he should try this choir. It's really good." And so he ended up joining the Deux-Sèvres chamber choir, which is very prestigious choir here, and he sings in that. And he joined, I think, in the November, and he did his first concert in the December, and they were like, "How can you do a concert?" Because he can read music, so he doesn't need to learn orally, which is what a lot of the French don't read music. So he does that. The other English guy that was in the town, he said, "Oh, come to Petanque, you're going to like that." So my husband joined the Petanque, just the
Typical.
non-serious, the non-serious, very silly Petanque, not the serious competitions. So on a Friday afternoon, he goes and does that and gets very drunk, but he learns some interesting words there. Um,
Yeah, you mentioned that to me. I just want to say a point about it that your husband and you, as you have different hobbies, you are learning French, like different kind of French. It's like French in
Yes,
context, and so you have
yes,
like a other kind of skill, like maybe the level of familiarity of David with the pétanque is higher, or maybe
yes.
you are like more with the accuracy of the body thanks to the Pilates, or like you know different things, so maybe you can teach each other as well, no?
Yes, yeah, we do, yeah. I've joined, our town has an exposition every year, our little village. So I got involved with that and I did the first year and I loved it. And then they said, oh, you should come along to this association, the Association de Adult Loisirs, leisure. I went, oh, okay, fair enough. So a Thursday afternoon, I go along and go and sit with all of my friends in the hall, and we just do whatever you want to do. Some of the older ladies play bridge in the corner, and we paint or draw or crochet or sew or whatever. And they call me the chef de crochet because I sit there crocheting, and I do that because I don't need to think about what I'm crocheting. I can do it without thinking. I've been doing it for like forever, so it's
Very
probably for.
British, no?
Yeah, well, no, they do a lot
No?
of crocheting.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what I have in mind. I imagine a lot of
it's really, really an up and coming craft nowadays. It's really big.
yeah,
But the whole point
trendy.
is that I can sit in the room and they're talking French and I can hear it, and they're so patient with me because I do stop and go, oh, no, wait a minute, I don't understand that. What's that word? I don't understand that. And they're very, very good at helping me. But what they really like is that I make cakes for them, and they like the English cakes. And I did a full cream
Ah,
tea and brought clotted cream back from the UK last time we went, and I did a full cream tea for them, and I got the bone china out and everything. So they love that. Um, what else do I do? I've joined a gym, so I have a personal coach, and I talk to people there, and I learn his thing there. There, I met a Paralympic, an archer, and sometimes I go to her house and help her with her English.
oh, you're really active. It's
So
an
we just
endless list.
Yeah, we just try and say yes to everything. But what's really lovely is that, we've been invited to weddings, funerals, parties, birthday parties, the cutting of the galette de roi, where they cut the on Epiphany, they cut the cake
Mhm.
to find out who's going to be the king. We've
Avec
been
la
to that.
fève, la fève.
Yeah, we've been to aperos, apero dinners. David's joined the wine appreciation club here. You can only do it by invitation, and he's joined that. So my friend that I did Pilates with, we're now friends with them and their friends. And whenever France and England play rugby, Le Crunch, the game, we didn't know it was called that, but it's called the Le Crunch. We go around to each other's houses and have a big apro dinner and just watch the rugby because we all adore rugby. It gets very funny. It's like, I don't know, it's about 4 o'clock in the morning when you roll home from those.
A lot
It's
of
good fun.
rivalry between France and England.
Yes, but it's all good fun.
Yeah,
Especially as we can go, Vive la Bleu!
yeah.
So yeah, I think if you can throw yourself in, even if you can't talk, if you try to talk, people love it. People are so nice in that they will correct you because we've asked them to correct us. We go to the restaurant, the local restaurant in town, and the owner's wife is a teacher, and she will get the blackboard out and give us a French lesson when we're there to
Oh,
try and
wow.
help us understand things because this is what we've asked. I mean, it's really good fun.
But I imagine this enthusiasm that you have and like the way that people are welcoming you and like pulling up the whiteboard. I imagine that all of that it's possible thanks to the fact that you picked a more remote place, not such a touristic place. So
Yes.
the fact that you are one of the only British people, or like one of these few expats, that makes you special, and like they really treat you as well. Like, oh my God, let's go and meet Beverley. And oh my God, you are making those cakes. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think maybe if you had picked a very touristic place or moved to Dordogne, where a lot of British people are, that would have been a complete different experience, I imagine.
It would have been, and that's the whole reason why we moved here and not to somewhere that was really touristy. We wanted to live this authentic French life, but we're enthusiastic, and we're enthusiastic to learn and also to share. And what you find very quickly is that in conversations, you learn conversations in French, and you learn to talk about yourself. That's all very well, but that will only get you so far. What you really need to do is to learn how to ask questions and then ask follow-up questions, and once you understand that that's what you've got to do, the whole world opens up to you. So
It was a turning point for you?
well, yeah, but I mean, I like talking to people anyway, so that's what I do, and I always like finding out about people. So I was always that person that would ask questions in English, so it was very natural for me to ask questions and learn how to ask the questions in French, but I don't think a lot of people realise that they've got to learn to ask questions. So when I was the first summer get-together for the association for the gym, there was 40 women, because it's not just Pilates, they do all sorts of classes, 60 women in a restaurant, all speaking French. One person, two people spoke a little bit of English. Claudia spoke really good English, and my friend Isabel spoke a little bit of English. Nobody else does. And they asked me if I would like to go, and I went, yeah, I'd love to. I mean, how many people would put themselves in that situation? I mean, I must be bonkers. But I wrote down questions on a pad and got them out, and then asked these questions, really bad French, but they loved the fact that I got them written down and asked these questions, because I could understand what they were saying in response, and then I could ask a follow-up question.
But yeah, it's true that it creates this bridge between you and the French people and the locals. But so I can see that you are well integrated. You do lots of activities, and because you show like this good, this goodwill, I think people like really appreciate you. But I wanted to ask you, as you left a life behind, in terms of intimacy, do you have like those intimate friends that maybe you had in the UK? This friend like that knows all about you, and because I imagine with the language barrier, maybe it's a little bit hard, even if you can get by and you got quite a good level in French. But do you have like those kind of friends in the village with who you can share like your emotions? And
I think we're getting there, I think is the answer. I mean, the friends that we've got in the UK, we're still friends with, and we've been friends, and they visit us, and we've been friends for 15, 20 years, and so they are always going to be our closest friends. Here, we are getting there. We've got some good neighbours who are happy to ask us if we'll do things for them, and I love that. So our neighbour opposite, her husband does martial arts, I can't remember which one, and he got picked to do a competition in Portugal, and they were able to sort the daughter out so they could go, but their son had to go to school, and he had to catch his blah blah car to be able to go to school, although he stays at school there. And she said, could you give him a lift? It was like 7:30 in the morning. I was like, yes, of course. They had a massive party, and they said, you haven't got any rooms free that our grandparents could stay at? Yes, of course. What about his brother? Oh, yes, of course. Just pop in. It's absolutely fine. And it's our other neighbour, when she's poorly, she messaged me to say, can I take her dogs for a walk? We're getting there, and when people are happy to ask you if you can do things for them, I think they're feeling more comfortable.
exactly, there is a bit of trust.
There's more trust there, and I think that's what's really good. We are getting there. I mean, we've got friends that I talk to a lot to, and her daughter lives in England and actually only lived about 10 miles away from where our son used to live, and when we went back to the UK, we would take boxes of presents back for them because it was easier than posting them, and we could take stuff. You know, it's being able to do stuff like that that is really nice for people. And if she's got a sage bush. This is ridiculous. She's got a sage bush. My sage bush had died. I needed some sage. Can I come and get some sage? Yeah, of course. Come and get it. It's those sort of things that are really, really
Exactly.
lovely. Apart from
That,
the fact when we
yeah.
go there, we have to have a bottle of wine.
C'est automatique. L'apéritif.
Yes.
Well, I mean, in the UK, I imagine it's also a little bit like that about the aperitif or not? You don't have this culture of sharing.
No. If you'd probably put the kettle on for people, but
Yeah.
not a glass of wine at 4 o'clock in the
Mm.
afternoon. Well, not a glass. It ends up being a bottle.
We definitely don't have the same tea culture in France, no? No. We don't
No.
know about that. I'm learning that because my partner is from New Zealand and he's like, Deb, you need to know how everyone takes their tea, how much
Yeah.
milk, like that's how we get to know the people. You know the quantity of milk they take. And yeah, in France, we don't know anything about this tea culture.
No, I tried to serve them tea when I did their cream tea, and they did not like the black tea.
No. Yeah, we take infusion, les infusions le soir, la
Yeah.
verveine ou le
I keep going,
tilleul.
this isn't tea, this is an infusion,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
tea.
Non, c'est pas
And then they
pareil.
go, why do you want milk in your tea? Because it tastes better. It's strange. So
C'est
our
différent.
local shop here sells oysters, on a Sunday, but doesn't sell fresh milk.
Différent. I can see that the time is going quite quickly. I wanted to mention also your Facebook group because it seems that as we can see with your personality and your enthusiasm, you like sharing and you like
Yeah.
to just inspire people, sharing your own experience. And I'm going to share the
It's not just
screen.
that I'm a great sharer. I like inspiring others to have a go at whatever it is that they want to do, because it's so important that we don't just let our life drift, that we do stuff.
So that's your Facebook group, right? The Great
Yes,
Escape.
the Great Escape France is our Facebook group, and that painting of our house was done by a friend of mine. It's not cropped terribly well, but it is up in our house. It's really cute.
Oh.
And from the Facebook group, you'll be able to see the progress on our gîte, which is the building at the back of us that we've. The only thing that remains of the original building is the four walls. Everything else has had to be changed. So it was a full renovation.
And so in this group, you are sharing your daily life.
Yeah, it's our daily life, what we do, where we go. Obviously, there's a lot of food because we consume a lot of food. We try and grow as much food as possible, and we buy as much fresh food as possible. I love cooking, which is why my kitchen is fabulous. And I love sharing the food as well. So people are always loving the recipes. It's very different. Things that you can buy in England are very different from things that you can buy in France, and I know that you can't get the American stuff here either. So we buy. You sort of have to do recipes, a bit of franglais, a bit of what you can get there and what you can get here are completely different. So I try, I mean, that's sort of like a nod to an English roast dinner. Not quite, but it's close enough.
That looks like it to me.
Yeah, this is pork. Our friends own Pignut Spinney pork products, and they have Old English pork breeds that truffle around in the forests above them. They're all organic. It's absolutely beautiful pork, and they cut them in English joints so that you can get your English
Ah,
sausages and
yeah.
things like that. They're starting to sell them to French people as well now. So
I like what you say about doing this kind of franglais cooking because it shows that it's like interculturality in a plate. It's like, okay, I don't have this exact product, but I'm going to improvise, use a bit of
yeah.
creativity and make it a bit similar. So you have to use your creativity as well.
Yeah, you have to, and of course um, we don't have a lot of lamb round here and things like that. So that we have to think about what what we can do around here is very different. I like to share houses because there are a lot of people that are looking for houses in our group, so I do share if there is something really pretty. And it's just our life, really.
As we mentioned the food, I just have to show the picture you sent me. You sent me food picture, and it's true that you seem to be a really good cook, really good chef. So I'm going to share the picture you sent me.
Oh, that was amazing. That does not do it credit. This was homemade orange curd made into a cheesecake with a speculoos base, and I did that for a party that we were having.
Oh,
a dinner party.
fantastic. L'eau à la
Yeah.
bouche. We are having like the water in the mouth. It's
Absolutely.
mouth-watering.
Yes,
L'eau à la bouche.
that was really good. The orange liqueur orange curd looked really good. That's a rhubarb tart, I think. Oh no, that's a leek.
Poireau.
Poireau, homegrown poireau, just made into a tart.
Oh, dans le
with,
potager, you have poireau in
shallot.
the garden?
Yes,
Oh, super.
and the onions come from our friend's brother grows the onions, and we buy them in big bags. So onion and leek, that was an amazing tart. That was. I'm not very good at pastry. It's bought pastry, but that's fine. Oh, this was really good. I love cauliflower, and this is roast cauliflower. It's one of my favourite things to do is roast cauliflower, chickpea and feta salad with a bit of tangine salad dressing. Can't buy tangine, so I made it,
Oh,
which was very easy.
great. You have to write a recipe book.
Everybody in the group says, "Are you going to write these recipes down?" And I forget them because I probably won't do it again. I just
Yeah,
create them.
improvise.
A friend of a neighbour of mine from the group was going to England to go and stay for a few days, so she gave me the eggs from her chickens. And so I made this Victoria sponge because all my friends at the adult leisure group wanted to taste a Victoria sponge because they couldn't get the idea of a sponge cake because it's not really something you have in France.
No.
And I used the eggs, which is why it's such a beautiful yellow, because the eggs were completely fresh, and
Exactly.
they loved that.
What's in the
Really loved it.
middle?
It is buttercream and strawberry jam. Very traditional. That's homemade pizza. I was experimenting with trying to learn how to make a pizza base without yeast. That worked very well. I've done very well with that now.
Did you do it with beer or sourdough?
It's just flour and water
Oh.
and olive oil and a little bit of raising agent in there. Again, the flour is different in France, so you have to.
Ah oui,
the vin.
les farines.
The farine is different.
Et le vin, quel est ce vin? What's this wine?
Oui.
Do you remember?
That would be that's probably an épée, which is from the Petit Château de Troyes in Chinon, which is our favourite Chinon chateau, because Sébastien runs that with his wife, and épée is a very léger, a very light red wine, and I love that. That would be a Friday night dinner.
Ah, you see, you remember. I asked you to see. Maybe she won't remember, but you know exactly
No.
which wine was it.
Yeah. Oh, this is the cream tea that I did for at the club. So you can see that it was Christmas, so I got all the Christmas crockery out.
Well, no wonder you are popular in the village. Look at you.
Geneviève, who runs this group, also does cooking classes, and I'm just waiting for her to ask me to do a cooking class.
Oh, wow, that looks so good.
Oh, what you asked for pictures of our old house. This was our old dining room. It's a dining room, a lounge diner with a little conservatory, and you can see how small it was. It's really small.
That's what you wanted, no? When you mentioned the window.
Yeah, that was our conservatory.
Yeah.
We don't need a conservatory here. We've got this, but I did want a garden seat. Our garden here, we've got these enormous patio doors, which are probably 4 meters wide, and that's our garden, our little garden. So we actually this is our like sunny space.
Yeah, in the end, it's just different, but it serves the same purpose.
Yeah, and that was our garden in England. As you can
Ah,
see, it was
yep.
quite small, big for England, but
Yep.
quite small.
Voilà. I think we saw them
Is
all.
that the end? Yeah.
Merci. Thank you for sharing. And well, I think you have so many things to say. We probably skipped lots of parts, but I wanted to ask you if you have, as you say, that you like to inspire people and say to them if they have dreams, things are possible. And I wanted to ask you if you could give an advice for the people who maybe probably like British people who feel that after Brexit they don't have like maybe the strength to go through, as you said, the more American route to work on visa, or like, could you just maybe share some tips or words of encouragement for the people who feel that they have like this little desire to maybe spend their retirement years abroad in France or somewhere else?
Yeah, I would say definitely go for it. It is possible. You do need to prove that you've got independent income, but if you're drawing a pension, or we've got a business still in the UK and I still write, and my husband's got his pension, so we are able to do that. And my husband runs his own pension. He manages his own pension pot, so he can invest and sort that out. So we're fine. You just need to look at what you can do. Everything is possible. If you want to retire to France, it is definitely possible. You need probably less money here than you do in America, and definitely in the UK. The houses are cheaper. The food is probably about the same, but a lot of things are cheaper than in the UK, and therefore you need less money to live well. And I think it takes a long time to retire and to unplug your brain, and it takes you a while to get used to what you've got to do next. So what am I trying to say here? It took us 2 years to unplug our brains and go, yes, okay, we can now do the sort of things that we want to do. And that actually doesn't take as much money as you think it's going to take. So you probably do have the resources. And we bought this house. This house was half the price of our house that we sold in the UK. And this is a big house. This is a
Yeah.
very big house.
Mm.
In tips in finding houses now, I love this house. I love this space, and I wanted this space, and I would not. But be very, very careful about what you want and how much work you want to do. There is a lot to be said for buying a smaller house that's fully insulated, that's got all the windows and doors, and all you've got to do is, do a little bit of decorating, because that way you can then go and spend lots of time travelling around. We have spent the last 3 years working really hard. We've done a little bit of travelling, but nothing to what we would like to do. But we're nearing the end.
Yeah. But then you are going to be so proud of all you did.
Well, yeah, I mean, I am already very proud
Yeah.
of what we did. I think we've created a beautiful home. Everybody loves it. There's my character all over it. I get to paint everything that I want to. So that wall there in the Corridor of Doom, that is a stenciled wall. It's all stalks. It's about 4 meters by 3 meters. It's quite a big wall. It took me 2 weeks to do. There is little gold, it's stenciled, and there are little gold dots, and every single gold dot is hand painted.
Wow.
And I
Do you
love
have
the fact.
pictures to share about
I thought I'd sent them to you, but
Oh, I
obviously
haven't seen.
I haven't. It's quite an artwork, and everybody that walks in goes wow, and they go into another room, and they go wow, and I love that.
Yeah, I think as you said, like you had this life where you couldn't really yourself like work on your own project, and I think maybe that's why also you decided you picked this house, so you decided to go for a house
Yeah.
where you could actually like really do all this DIY thing, put your mark on, as you say, your character on the house. But it is true that maybe you keep this traveling part for a little bit later when things are done.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's not going to be too long. We're already there, but our son's got married and we've had the kitchen done and everything. The kitchen has been the biggest expense, obviously. I'm talking to you sat at my granite island, which is amazing. I love it. I just keep touching it. It's amazing. But it cost a lot, so we're just recouping a little bit, and then we'll start on doing the next bit, which is travel, which is really good fun.
If people want to, in the future, when the gîte is going to be finished, if they want to reserve, like see the picture of the gîte, how do they find you? On the Facebook group or?
Go to the Facebook group, The Great Escape France. We are currently just building all the marketing for the gîte. The open day will be at the end of June. I mean, it's that close to finishing.
So soon.
Yes, I've painted a full mural on the bedroom wall that everybody walks in and goes, wow. The photos don't do it justice because it's all gold. I do like bling. If you go to the Great Escape France, there will be a link there to our gîte. It's called Le Petit Gîte de Roy for various reasons, not only because the road it's on is called Le Rue de Pied de Roy, so in the footsteps of King, although the historical elements that I've been able to work out, the king is not the actual king. It would have been like a May-King, like a May-King and Queen, and they would have like processed down with a jokey, silly, like Lord of Disrule, King of Disrule type thing. That's quite old, apparently. Mm-hmm. But the gîte is the oldest bit. That's 160 years old. Yeah. But yeah, the Great Escape France, that's where you'll find us.
Okay. Do you have, just to finish, like a French expression that you like? Whatever comes into your mind, something that you think is funny or...
The best one is j'en ai marre.
J'en ai marre. Yeah. It's kind of the way it's said. J'en ai marre. J'en ai marre.
And the way I remember it is Johnny Marr is a yes. guitarist.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of
But when you stood at the checkout, you go, oh, j'en ai marre le pleu. I'm fed up of the rain. J'en ai marre le temps. Yeah. And it gets people talking.
It's good to have this Johnny Marr because it's really not pronounced the way it's written. No. There is a lot of liaison. J'en ai marre. J'en ai marre.
Yeah. And on y va. It was a bit of a revelation to us. We were told when we did French at school that on was the same as one in French, in English, and was very formal and was hardly ever used. And then we'd been here for about 2 years, and our English teacher said, why are you using nous all the time? Just use on. And we're like, isn't that very formal? She said, no, it's the opposite.
It's because on has 2 uses. There is this on, the impersonal on, but like most of the French people, when they speak orally, they use on as an informal nous. So, yes. Yeah, but this, like, you get to know once you learn. But yeah, most of the French people, instead of saying nous y allons, they will say on y va. On y va.
And the other thing, once you get your number, when you've got a mobile number, write it out in words and carry it with you, because then when somebody asks you what your mobile number is, you can take it out and you can say the words or put it on your phone, but in words, not numbers, and that way you're learning the numbers and you sound like you know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's important because it's those small chit chat when they get to know you that they kind of think, okay, that's Beverley level of French. So at least if you can master the first keywords and like the phone number and this.
And we tell everybody that we have an adult's brain, but the words of a child. So please use the words of a child with me, and they all sort of get that. And I say, I'm intelligent in English, just not in French.
Yes, you are, I'm sure.
It's just a key is to get people to laugh, and then they're fine.
Yeah. Well, Beverley, thank you so much for sharing your experience, your journey, your adventures with the house. And maybe we can have an interview like later on in the game to see like after a
Absolutely.
year how your business is doing, how the gîte is going, and the travel, if you have done any travel, and to see a little bit the evolution in general, and maybe the C1 level in French. Or
I don't think I'm ever going to reach C1. I'll be happy when I can do B2 because that means we can apply for our citizenship. So,
yeah,
big tip.
yeah. Well, merci beaucoup, Beverley, and well, à bientôt.
Merci, à bientôt, de rien.
Au revoir.
Merci mille fois, Beverley, for this interview. And you can find her on her Facebook group, and you can find her gîte. And make sure to sign up if you don't want to miss any episodes. I've got some pretty nice ones in store. À bientôt!